We're live. Huh? Offline.
Fuck.
Yeah, it's offline. Yeah.
No. Little patience.
I'm gonna plug my phone, and then as soon as you guys say ready, I'll unplug it.
Got you.
Yeah, keep saying offline. Yeah, we're there. We're streaming. We're recording. Everyone's on and good.
Because that was on mute.
Oh,
We're
okay.
streaming. Yeah. Everyone's on and good. Yeah, we good, brother.
Are we live?
Yeah, yeah. It's taking its
just
time
delay.
for to buffer, but we're good.
But it usually doesn't play like that. It
Did you-
doesn't usually play back though. I think you're just showing what we did.
No. This is what's showing up right
No,
here.
because it's on a delay.
Yeah.
So like when we're talking, it's gonna all be in the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
Like right now.
Yeah. Like we're like think of it like that's 10 seconds behind.
Like this is.
No, I understand that, but I thought this doesn't usually. Okay.
It does.
No.
It does.
Okay.
It does.
Okay.
All hearts and minds are clear.
And the audio's good. Like it looks like it's on mute,
It is on mute so that we don't hear ourselves.
but it's recording, right? Okay,
yes,
good.
it's
Okay.
recorded.
All
Ready?
right. Yeah.
Ready? 1, 2, 3, hit it! Hey! Welcome to the Soapbox, ladies and gentlemen. This is the most infamous podcast on your streaming services. Thank you for being with us today. Wherever you are and wherever you may be, thank you for joining us. I am your host, TJ Legacy, and I'm here joined to my right, the Miss.
Robin the Heart.
Go ahead, Robin the Heart, and my boy, Freaky.
Fresh, John Boy, fresh.
And we have our guest contributors. We have Miss Giovanni Hampton here joining us all the way from Tallahassee. All right. And we have, don't forget the NYC, my homeboy, my man, Alan York. Young Ginger Ale, Mr. Durag, sensation himself. And we have comedian extraordinaire, Miss Jess A. Miss Jess A, how you doing? All the way from Boston, hometown.
What's
What's good? So, Robin, how was your weekend? Or your week, rather?
My week is better now.
Okay.
I was sick pretty much all week, but I'm feeling great now, rejuvenated, and I'm good to go.
So, she got her cootie shot. She's all good to go. Freaky fresh?
Yeah, weekend was okay, man. I was a little sick too. I got badly sunburned, but I'm good now.
No, I was good. I just have no patience. I was in Walmart and there was someone who cashed out in the 20 items or less aisle. They had like a whole full cart of food stamp groceries, and I needed to go. And then there was a crying baby. Someone like the cashier, instead of cashing me out, because the father left his baby in the Walmart. So instead of cashing me out,
wow.
she attended to this 4-year-old and picked up the child. And then the father got back to the Walmart and was like, "That's what you get." To the 4-year-old. So that's crazy. That's how my story my week happened.
Week
So
went.
question for y'all. What would you do to get someone's attention? How far would you go to get someone's attention? That's what I want our listeners or our viewers to ask themselves. Because we had a young lady, I believe she went and tried to get Tyler Perry's attention. So, Robin, tell us a little bit more about that story. Robin, Jesse, tell us about the story about the girl that tried to get Tyler Perry's attention with the billboard.
Basically, what she did was she went and posted a billboard and tried to get Tyler Perry's attention, saying that she was the right one or whatever. Honestly, he said he didn't like it. I don't blame her, because if I didn't know that she didn't like it, I feel like that's something that I would do if I had the money.
Right.
I've gone to extremes to try to get somebody's attention.
Like what? What did you do? What's the craziest thing you've done to get somebody's attention?
I mean, I wouldn't say it's outrageous, but there was a guy that I really liked, but I knew that we were not going to talk. Like, there was no way that we were about to talk. So I went and found out what his name was on his mailbox, and I went on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and I typed in his name, found him, messaged him, and then just found a random way to, like, interact with him, which I did. And from there, things got great because we ended up together. But I feel like
Wait.
There.
For our new audience, when you say you ended up going together, okay, so what age group was this?
Shut up. No, we're not doing that.
How far along was this?
This was like about 6 years ago, before I met my fiance.
Okay, all right.
And, you know, and we ended up together, which was great. Which I feel like it would have never happened if I didn't take the initiative to hit him up and find out who he was on social media, because there was no way we were talking. I can tell you that right now.
Yes, and the actress, her name is actually Raquel Bailey, and so she paid for this billboard. And Tyler Perry, he didn't really shut it down. He kind of was like, "Listen, there's better ways for you to utilize your money than to spend it on the billboard, because the billboard's got to be like what, $1,200?
Yeah, he said it's like you could best way to work for me is to audition for free.
Yeah, she
You know what I'm
spent
saying?
$2,000 on a billboard to get his attention. Yo, Alan, has a woman ever done anything crazy to get your attention? Like stalk your mailbox?
I've never had the mailbox song. I've never really had the, like, I've seen you at the event, did a stand-up thing. Now here I am in your damn type of swag, which is dope. I like stuff like that. I'm the boss, baby. Come with me.
Yeah. Everybody I like a little dash of crazy though. I like that. Show me some fire. Women are too. Sometimes women. I love aggressive women. Like sometimes dudes, we like that too, right?
You like it, and then you're mad when they get aggressive.
Yeah, exactly. That's what.
You like it until they
No,
get
I just don't want
aggressive.
you to write your name in my car with your keys or
That's
do
aggressive
stuff
to me.
like
The
that.
art.
Yeah, that's aggressive. That's aggressive to me right there, bro. She was sending you a message.
What else have they done, Alan? Sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
No. That was, I think that's probably the craziest thing. But my philosophy with women and dating is, listen, you either go out to the ocean and you hunt the fish that you want to eat, or you stay on the shore and you eat whatever washes up, meaning the people that come to you. So
That's a great philosophy.
Yo, closed
For real.
mouths don't get fed. Giovanni, have you done anything crazy to get someone's attention? She's like, child, I'm still going through that court case.
Being crazy. Never.
So has the guy done anything crazy to get your attention?
Crazy stuff to get my attention.
Okay, what has the guy done to get your attention?
Oh, I mean, the person is still living, so I'm scared of them.
Well, we got to do security detail.
It was just on some like military, connections. Found my address, started sending me letters.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I
that's.
don't even know how he got my address. It was just really freaky.
You know what's crazy is what's the thin line between like trying to show initiative and like when it comes to like stalking or like, whoa, this is creepy. Because if a guy sees you or he's never met you and he's like, yo, I really want to get this girl's attention, and let's say he sends her flowers at her job, is that creepy, or is that like he's taking the initiative to get her attention?
No, it's creepy if on the card it says I love you and miss you.
Ooh.
Yeah, it is a little much.
Y'all don't know each other.
I once met a girl I once met a woman and told her, it was like, I want you to be the mother of my children. Like, is that weird? Is that weird?
How long?
Anybody? Alan, is that weird?
No.
I mean,
She was a model. Is that
how
how?
did you know her from? Like, how many seconds?
So how many seconds? So 5 or 10?
It wasn't that long. It was one of my. It was actually at work, and one of my coworkers went up to her and was like, "Hey, you see that guy? I know he's a little shy. I didn't know he was doing it too. Like, I know he's a little shy, but he really, he's really attracted to you. He really likes you. Kind of went in there, smoothing things out a little bit. And I was like, yo, what did you do? He goes, don't worry about it. Say less. It's all set. And I was like, what? What did you say? What did you say? Yo, and so one of my other coworkers, what's crazy is one of my other coworkers was like, yo, that girl's dope. I'm gonna go talk to her. And this dude, I knew he was like a Neanderthal. So I knew if he went over there, she would probably either just leave the establishment we were at. So I was like, okay, I gotta move fast. So I went up to her, introduced myself, and was like, I hope you don't take this, I hope you don't think this is too forward, but I want you to be the mother of my kid. I just wanted to tell that. I just want to be honest. And she was just like, that is so sweet. I mean, I guess she's like, I guess I'm gonna take that as a compliment. So, hey, yeah, nothing came of it. It was just,
She didn't let you.
I just know that the mother of my children, whenever she's ready.
Ooh, that could have went left if it was somebody that, oh, really? So you can run out on me?
That's great. That's great. So, Giovanni, what's going on in your world? I know we have here on the Soapbox, we're going to have segments. Each one of us has our own spin on a different segment. This week, we have, all the way from Tallahassee, we have Hampton on the Hill. So, Giovanni, you have some bills that we should look out for while you're at the Capitol.
Well, considering that session is over, some good bills on the table. I don't think a lot of them stem towards helping the black community, but I mean, I'm really excited that the incarceration bill just got signed by the governor yesterday, and that's the dignity for incarcerated women. So now women are going to be able to have those hygiene products free of cost, and that's going to be tampons, pads, all that good stuff. I think also a very big one was the criminal justice reform package, and that's going to raise the felony threshold from $300 to $750. So no longer, if you steal an iPhone, will you be considered a felon?
Okay, so
Well, it depends what iPhone. 'Cause some iPhones are $1,000.
so everybody just got real nervous. So make sure you put your iPhone on your hip. People, it's open season.
It's crazy.
But I think that's a great thing, though, isn't
Yes,
it?
but
Having
then-
a lot more misdemeanors and not felonies. You can still have a life with a misdemeanor.
True,
Yeah.
true that. Yeah, that to be labeled with a felony, that's a life changer. That changes everything. What else we got? What else you got in Tallahassee?
So, I'm not sure if y'all remember back when Rick Scott was the governor, and people were saying he was the wealthiest governor, which has proven to be true. He's the wealthiest governor in Florida, and a lot of his money was in the blind trust, so nobody knew how much money he was really making. So now they've come up with the legislature that will not allow politicians to put their money into a blind trust fund. So any type of money that they're making, everybody has to can't hide it anymore. Can't put it into a bank for a trustee to keep up with it. That's over with.
That's good because we want to make sure. Yeah, that's good. We want to make sure that we have a lot more checks and balances for our politicians to make sure that they're not deceiving the people, especially with whether it's their tax returns or their money.
Exactly, and I think that's just very important because that man, I mean, he was sitting on stacks of money. But another big one is sex dolls are banned now in Florida. Oh no, not sex dolls, childlike sex dolls.
Oh, okay.
Wait, what?
Okay.
Damn, do they
Guys,
sell that? Is there literally a market for that?
Well,
Is it childlike sex?
childlike sex dolls.
Oh,
that's
shit.
That's
No.
creepy. Like, who's the manufacturer who would who thought that was a good idea?
Why are they buying them?
Wow.
I believe it.
That's
But
crazy.
you know what the number one reason why they were buying them? Because they were saying that it helped perverts not actually actually do things to young girls, so they would buy the sex dolls instead.
Yeah. You know what else helps pervert not have sex with young girls? Castration. Like, straight up. Like, I'm not with that. That's the one thing that I think that you can't rehabilitate. If someone is sexually attracted to a young child, minor, whatever, you can't rehabilitate that. I'm sorry. Like, you gotta go to an island where there's mutated dinosaurs and y'all just gotta run for y'all damn life. Like, that's how I care about y'all. Like, for real. Like, I hate to be, for those people saying, oh, they're a human being, they're heartless, but we gotta do, our first priority as adults is to protect our children. And I don't believe in that love is love for pedophilia, not at all. So, miss me with that bullshit. But go ahead, Giovanni.
And the last one, TJ, is if you thought that you could get away with texting and driving, you're not going to get pulled over. That's going to change July 1st because texting and driving is now going to be a primary offense.
Whoa, what do you mean by primary? Go ahead, can you explain that to us?
Texting, primary, okay, so before you could get pulled over, but it had to be for something else. So like if it was
Yeah.
They would get a ticket for both, but now it's like you weren't speeding, but your phone was in your hand, so you're gonna get pulled over for having your phone in your hand.
Oh, so
Yeah,
even
in
if it's
your
in your hand. See, you know what? I don't like that because that's another way for officers to manipulate the system and have a basically pull people over to say, "Oh, I saw you with your phone." You see what I'm saying? Like for those traffic stops. Hey, I saw you with your phone. They're like, no, you didn't. No, I know what we saw. So now we're just going to we're giving more law enforcement discretion where they've already shown propensity to violate the discretion that they even have already. Why do we keep doing this in our legislature? We just keep giving cops more discretion to pull people over and say, well, oh, he had his cell phone out and that's why I started. Look at Sandra Bland. So now they're going to say, I know that was in Texas, but if a situation like that happens, they're going to let the officer walk and think everything was justified. Instead of saying it's an illegal stop, it's just a loophole to say, oh, we didn't illegally stop you. You had your cell phone, because how do you gauge whether or not a person had their cell phone or not in their hand? You're literally taking the officer's word over the person who could potentially be a victim of police brutality or potentially be dead. You have something to say, Alan?
No, that's exactly what I was gonna say. I was like, there's no way. It's not like there's a speedometer or anything that's fact based when you're going to court or to fight any of these things. So I think it's just gonna lead to an abuse of power. I agree.
Yeah. So I'm not a big.
But you know what? Both of y'all bring up a good point.
Mhm.
There's a provision in the bill where they want to keep. I mean, you know, like when you get a ticket, it's gonna say it like it has your race on there. So what they're supposed to be doing is keeping like opponents, people who are against the bill are saying. So basically, you can racially profile people if it says a majority of Spanish people, Hispanic people or Black people text. Then you're gonna be looking, as a cop. Let me see if a Black person texted. So it may be a lot. It's a lot of controversy behind it, but hopefully it saves lives.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah, man. Every time I'm on my 4, I see people with their phones, man. I'm scared to death. Like,
If I get a Tinder alert in a certain area, okay, like that's all I'm doing. Like I'm at a red light. The notification went off. It's a little Tinder bait. I've never been in this neighborhood, and all of a sudden I get hot. You know what I'm saying?
You're gonna have to
and
wait
the
to swipe
notifications
left.
go. Nah, I just swipe right and just sort the bodies out later.
But you're gonna have to do it now when you're parked. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
You're not gonna be able to do
goodness.
it. You're not gonna be able to do it while you're
I'm
driving.
like, you're
What
right.
about if you're at a stoplight?
That's what I'm saying.
Does that
That's usually when I check my
The
phone.
car
anyway.
got to be in motion, maybe.
You can text at a red light.
You can?
Why if you're using your GPS?
All of those things, y'all.
That's a good point too. The GPS.
Yeah, so you can text at a red light, and you can use your GPS.
Okay.
Okay.
Well, that's not bad.
Yeah.
All right.
Just got to be disciplined.
Just know if I get stopped that, I didn't really have my cell phone out. It was all made up, ladies and gentlemen.
So yeah.
They made up that story. Straight up. All right, but hey, thank you. That's Hampton. Appreciate you. Hey, that's Hampton on the Hill. You'll get Hampton on the Hill on our Soapbox podcast. Giovanni, our guest contributor, she's a reporter that's on Capitol Hill, so we're getting exclusive information straight from Tallahassee all the way to your streaming services. And if you would love to follow us, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Soapbox Podcast with 2X. Follow us on social media at Soapbox Podcast with 2X as well. We'll be on all your streaming services as we launch on soon. Yes. So I don't want to date the show, but Monday. Yeah, we'll be there Monday. All right. So moving on. Well, we have a new addition to the Billionaires Club, don't we? Freaking fresh.
Jigga Jay-Z.
Jay-Z is now a billionaire. Hov, how you feel, Alan, about Jay-Z being a billionaire? Did you pop bottles?
Oh, hold on, B. Before you answer, Alan,
Yeah.
Alan was right. He is a he's not the
Duce.
owner, Duce, but he's like a big investor in it. So he's like partial owner.
Oh, so wait.
Wait, he's
So
partial owner then?
Yeah, he's an actual owner. Yeah. He may not own the full company, but he owns
We were
owns
both
one.
right.
what?
Yeah, I
Robin
remember.
changed on Wikipedia.
Yeah, she edited it.
Jay-Z was like, no, this is all wrong. What is this? Who is this? Yo, that's so funny. Robert, do you have something to say to
Jay-Z?
To Alan, we were both right.
Wow, isn't that just like a relationship? We both were wrong.
No, Alan was right on that
I'm
one.
glad we,
though.
I'm glad we figured this out together. Speaking of, and I know this has to do with Jay-Z, and I want to get to the Fresh Files. Did y'all see when Jay-Z was at the game with the at the Golden State Warriors game, and the owner's wife of the Golden State Warriors leaned over Beyonce, and she gave her the heifer shuffle, like heifer, please back up. That's my man. I think she's got anger. I think Beyonce has anger issues.
No, I think it could have been bad breath. You know what I mean?
Really?
Because she was real close to her face.
Nah, when she was talking to Jake Gyllenhaal, what was it, in 2000 and a couple years ago, 2014 or so, you know, Jay-Z was in the between, like, looking dazed and confused. You know, it was all good, but she don't like no. Y'all think Jay-Z's the one. I think Beyonce may be the Ike Turner. We're going to find out Jay-Z's biopic that Beyonce been beating him this whole time, and y'all going to be shocked.
No, she just was annoyed because if anyone's speaking over you, after a while, I'm sure that gets annoying, period, no matter who it is.
Yeah, well, I mean, she was touched a little bit. I'm pretty sure she got them tickets comped anyway. Yeah.
I think it was bad breath.
Giovanni, you don't like nobody talking to your man like that? Like reaching over you? She's speechless. What about you? Just say. Giovanni's like, look, child, don't even give me the...
I think I probably did a little stank look of lean back, you know.
Giovanni, you don't seem like you had them problems. You seem like you the one that are you the alpha female in your relationships?
I mean, I have mixed feelings. It's like, as long as you're being respectful, go ahead. You can talk to him all you want. Just know you can't have him.
What? You said as long as they know they can't have them?
Me? Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Cool. But all right, let's get to it. Fresh Files. Go ahead.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna do the first ever Fresh Files. All right, so let me get my info ready. I'm prepared.
Have him. That's fine. You can talk to him all you want.
We got you. Go ahead, John Boy.
All right, so check it out, man. All right, so this is our first ever Fresh Files. So what we're gonna do is this: we're gonna highlight the song from DJ Khaled's Father of Assad. All right, so it was the 2019 album that just dropped. Peaked at the U.S. Hot 100 at number 43 and at number 18 at the Billboard's Hot R&B song. And it's with the R&B singer SZA. No, she's not a Wu-Tang member, but with a name like that, she can be. Mm-hmm. And the track is called Just Us. Now, does everybody know which one that song came from? Like what that beat is from?
Yeah.
Okay, so it was from, the original sample was from Outkast 2000's Miss Jackson, okay? And it was an original track. They did everything. It was composed by Andre 3000, Big Boy, someone called Shuggy Otis, and Mr. DJ. Real quick, does anybody, and that was in 2000, does anybody have any particular fond memories of 2000, the year 2000, Robin?
2000, I was in middle school.
You were in middle school? What grade?
2000, I believe I was in 6th grade, yeah. I was
Sixth
in
grade?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
2000?
Yeah, year 2000. What about you, Jesse?
Jesse, you there?
What's your fondest memory from 2000?
I don't remember.
You don't remember nothing from 2000?
2000, I don't know.
No?
She was scheming on some little boy. Some boy in kindergarten.
I promise, I don't.
What about you, Alan? What about you, Alan?
Recollection of 2000, I mean, all I can remember is 2007, and that's when I graduated high school. Whatever happened before that, honestly, I cannot remember.
Okay, no worries. All right. What about you, Alan?
Who?
Alan.
No.
I don't know if he can hear us. Can you hear us?
2000?
Yeah. What you
Y2K chaos.
say that again? I'm sorry.
The 2000
I remember Y2K.
Oh,
Yeah,
true.
yeah,
The Y2K
the
bug.
world was gonna shut down.
Yeah, that's right. Because all the computers were fucking
Everything electronic.
yeah, and nothing happened.
We thought we would have floating cars.
Yeah.
That was weird.
Damn, that's right, man. I remember that shit.
Yeah.
I remember that shit. That's true. I dedicated one specifically for TJ, but I remember like the GameCube was out that year. But I remember the New York Yankees won the World Series, I think it was like the first Subway Series since like 1965 or something like that.
Oh, wow.
So that was my fondest memory of 2018. But basically that's kind of a look at what Fresh Files is. You know, looking back at the new, but also the original, because they took that from the original. So if you haven't checked out that song with DJ Khaled and SZA, it's called Just Us. Original is from Outkast, Miss Jackson. I'm gonna put a poll up. So I want to find out who you think did it better. Do you think that SZA and Khaled did a better rendition of it, or Outkast?
I don't want to say they did it better. I do love how they recreated it,
Okay.
but I mean, Miss Jackson, like, it's a classic.
Yeah, it's classic,
It still
yeah.
rides to this day, so
Yeah.
it's like you can't say they did it better, but
Yeah.
I do like what they did. With
Yeah,
it.
it's timeless for me. Like Miss Jackson. Like anytime I hear that, I like I turn it up,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, all right, this is gonna keep going forever.
Right.
So I'm gonna put a poll to see who did it better. You guys judge yourself. We're gonna do it on the Instagram at Soapbox Podcast. That's with 2X. Check it out. Everybody, go in there and see what do you what your opinion is. Who do you think did it better, or if it's the new one has overtopped the old one, or is Miss Jackson always going to be the original and the best? All right. So keep it always. This is the Fresh Files. Always keep it new. Always keep it original. Always keep it fresh. Where did TJ go?
He
Go ahead, Alan.
Question. I'm not now speaking of, since we're speaking to DJ Khaled, have you all heard about the little controversy between DJ Khaled and Tyler the Creator? Anybody heard
No.
about that?
Wow.
No. What's going on with that?
All right. So basically, essentially, DJ Khaled's album, which has been in the works forever, huge budget, big money, etc., came out the same Friday as Tyler the Creator's.
Okay.
And it just so happened that Tyler the Creator's album went #1, right?
Okay.
So there's been a lot of speculation how behind the scenes DJ Khaled hasn't really been pleased with his label and things of that nature because he didn't go #1. Now there is a video of DJ Khaled in some mysterious expensive car stating how his album is the album that people listen to and it's not no mysterious. In fact, I have some audio here for y'all.
Oh, play it, please, play it.
Exclusive.
Right.
I don't know if it's exclusive. I just said it.
Now, a lot of people were saying that's like a little Tyler the Creator spicy shot.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
to escalate that, if you go to Tyler the Creator's Twitter favorites, that video is in it.
Did Tyler say anything about it? Did he respond?
Nah, he didn't say anything, but they were on, people was in Khaled's comments on IG saying, we the second best, because he came out.
That's funny. That's funny.
They're saying that Khaled has become the thing that they're always talking about.
Did they? Yeah.
And this is like maybe the first time we saw a little chink in Khaled's I'm So Popular armor, so people are kind of running with that.
Yeah, people are real positive when they're the front runners, but
Right.
as soon as they don't get that golden sticker or they're not that line leader,
Yeah.
then all of a sudden they're bent out of shape and out of character.
But while we're here, I am gonna say everyone go listen to that new Tyler Creator album. It's awesome.
Oh, it's good. Yeah, I haven't heard it, man. I've never really been into Tyler the Creator, but
I love Tyler the Creator.
Really?
I mean, as far as I like his music, his antics and any of that other stuff. I'm not with it, but his music. As far as his music, I heard he's like eating cockroaches and doing all sorts of he just
Yeah.
does
They
weird.
do that in
Yeah.
a lot of countries.
I don't eat cockroaches, man.
If you have to, it's good protein.
I don't live with my former roommates. Like I used to live with cockroaches. What I look like?
You don't
like,
eat your friends
I
or
don't
your
eat my
tenants?
friends. Like,
Tyler has done a good job like putting all all
Oh,
that
God.
past him. Like, no one could really name too many incidents that he's had within the last 5 to 6 years. The crazy controversial stuff was when he was 19 and he just came out with Odd Future, the shock value stuff. But now he's like really coming to his own as an artist. They said that this is the first album to go #1 that was actually performed and arranged by the same person, because he does all his production and arrangements and stuff like that. So it's a really dope album. It's not a rap album. It's more so blurring the lines between maybe rap and like alternative, like maybe rock-ish, less rock. I want to say more eclectic, more like if you're a fan of NERD, that type of vibe with probably more 808s and things of that nature. So it's a really dope album. So shout out to Tyler for that.
All right, cool. Real quick, but I want our guest contributors. Where can they find you? Let's start with Giovanni. Let's see. Where can they find you on your social media?
So you can find me on Instagram at Just Giovanni, JUST JAVONNI, Just Giovanni. On Twitter, Giovanni H. But Instagram is my main platform. On Facebook, it's my first and last name, Giovanni Hanson.
And we're also having a prize for the best DM sliding in Giovanni's Instagram. So we don't know what the prize is. It might be some.
Maybe
some,
a T-shirt.
It might be some hair food grease or a hairbrush or a new do rag. But the best sliding DM. Maybe she'll put it on the show for you.
I'm working on the book. Might get it.
You said what? What's that? There you go. Hey, there you go. Okay, holla back. Hallelujah, holla back. Alan York, where can they find you on social media?
You can just go to Instagram and Homeless Millionaire. No spaces, no nothing. Spelled just like it sounds. Homeless Millionaire. If you're on Twitter, Alan York, Alan as in Iverson, York as in the state.
All right. And ladies, I don't want to leave you out. If you are having problems with your boyfriend and need advice, please slide into the Homeless Millionaire's DMs. He will give you exclusive advice as to keep that relationship going and how to let your boyfriend go down easy. There you go. Boston, hometown, where can they find you on social media?
Y'all can find me everywhere at Andrade Me, A as in Apple, N as in Nancy, D as in dog, R as in rider, A as in apple, D as in dog, E as in empty, M-E at everywhere.
I don't know if our listeners caught that. It's just like what?
The dyslexics one.
Oh, yeah. Yo, you so used to talking to young boys that she did it like a preschool teacher. Hey, is it? I'm just joking. We joking with you. It's all jokes. It's all love. All right.
It's all love.
Anything going? What's going on in Boston? How's my hometown doing? I know the Sox ain't doing. They're not doing that well. Celtics in the playoffs. But anything going on in the streets out there? Is it cold?
Not a damn thing. You know, the weather over here is bipolar. 1 minute it's hot, the next minute it's cold. One day it's 80 degrees, the next minute it's 50. They're very inconsistent here, so I can't really, tell you what's new.
Yes, and make sure you go on to
Inconsistent.
I feel you. Make sure you go on Jessay's Instagram so that you can check out some of her skits. We'll have some original content on our platform, Soapbox Podcast. That's Soapbox Podcast with 2X. We'll have some original content on our platforms as well. But go check out her videos. She has a lot of different characters, and and even gets all the family. The whole family is involved.
Yes.
Word. Listen, if our technical stuff kind of cuts out, don't be alarmed. All right, because we are trying to figure this stuff out. This is our first show, but we're gonna grow with you. We want our audience to grow with us. So this is what we're dealing with right now. All right, we are gonna move on to how are we gonna do this? Do we need to selfie, celebrity. That's the new intro. We don't have intro music. Yep, that's it.
He made up your intro,
selfie. Celebrity selfie.
We gotta work on that.
Celebrity selfie, y'all. All right, celebrity selfie. Here we go with Miss Robin the Heart. Go ahead, take it away.
Okay, so first for celebrity selfie, we kind of touched on it. As you know by now, Jay-Z is now officially a billionaire, which is major, obviously. He's the 5th black billionaire in the U.S., so that's big news in itself. I know a lot of people were kind of arguing, well, because he's said to be the first rap billionaire, period.
Yep.
And a lot of people were going back and forth arguing about
Dr. Dre.
Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
But what happened with that, because I thought as well that Dr. Dre was the first rap billionaire, but apparently not. He did, have a huge deal with Apple in 2014, but he spoke incorrectly. He was saying that deal should have made him a billionaire, but at the time, he was only worth $800 million, and the deal was for 3.2, but he was only worth $800 million, so he wasn't a billionaire.
Yeah.
So Jay-Z is the first official billionaire in the rap game.
Did you see how they got to that
The breakdown.
the breakdown? Yeah,
Yes,
like what he.
I mean, he has stake in champagne.
Yep.
He invests in Uber. He has his Douce Cognac.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, what?
Okay. Yes, because we were correct with that.
Yes.
Got you. Team effort.
He, was involved with Tidal, of course, Rock Nation. He makes music just off the music catalog he has, and he owns a lot of art and real estate. So, off of those avenues, he has become a billionaire.
I wonder what kind of art Jay-Z likes.
What kind of art?
Like, is it like it's impressionist, surrealist?
It's probably just Blue's finger, like her paintings.
Blue.
Blue Ivy's paintings.
He
probably
talks
worth
about it in
millions of dollars right now.
in one of
Millions.
his songs. He talks about how he started collecting art and
Story of OJ.
Story of OJ. There you go. So
Story of OJ. I haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
he in his music video song Story of OJ, he just basically talks about how he bought a painting and how he flips it, how it increases in value, and he talks about buying a block. So he was saying he's giving y'all game, and it says most billionaires or most millionaires have about 7 streams of income in order for you to be successful. So that's some free game for everyone who's trying to get their paper up. You need 7 streams of income to make sure that you can kind of get your wealth up.
right.
Good.
That sounds easier said than done, but that's a start. That's a start.
So you can have a car wash. Then from the car wash, you go clean some chicken, do some ribs on the side.
Food truck.
A
And
food
you
truck.
need something that makes money literally while you sleep, because if it's only during working hours, you're never gonna get.
Yeah, you're not gonna have a life. You're gonna die from working so much.
True. Just gotta be. I think you guys just gotta have a hustler's mentality, a hustler spirit as far as being productive. There's a lot of hustlers out here that are, I'm busy. You could be busy, but if we don't see busy and productivity matching, then you're just gonna stay local. And so Jay-Z is it's a perfect blueprint to success.
Absolutely. So, next up on Celebrity Selfie, okay, have you seen this whole story with Brad Pitt about?
No, go ahead. Tell me.
I heard
Share.
about it. The straightening.
So apparently, in actually it's Boston. These guys had decided that they are going to start a straight pride parade.
Mm-hmm.
A straight pride.
A straight pride
Like a
parade.
heterosexual man.
Right.
Okay.
So they created a website, and for whatever reason, they decided to make Brad Pitt the face of
The
this
face
website.
of it, yeah.
Obviously, not with consulting, consulting with him 1st.
Mhm.
And Brad Pitt's like, I don't want to be the face of this foolishness.
Yeah.
Stop it. So they even put on the website, they put, and I quote, "The straight community has adopted Brad Pitt as our mascot. Congratulations to Mr. Pitt for being the face of the important civil rights movement. Straight rights are human rights."
See, you know what my issue is with that is that people are always straight white males are always trying to find some sort of false equivalency for their oppression. Like a straight pride march or rally is basically the equivalent to an all lives matter. It's just a deflect from the issue. Like LGBTQ people are trying to talk about how they're not being treated because of their sexual orientation. Black folks are trying to say in the Black Lives Matter movement how we are not treated as human beings because of our skin color, our melanin, our pigmentation. And so straight white males are like, oh, well, we're oppressed. When are they oppressed? You don't go down the street as a straight white male or a heterosexual and someone chastise you because you're holding hands with your significant other, or you're not, as a straight white male, you're not denied housing, or as a straight person, you're not denied housing, or people have certain stigmas against you, or thinking that you're carrying diseases or any of that kind of stuff. So people are always trying to find this false equivalency when it comes to racism and oppression, or with sexuality, and I just think it's dumb. And I think Brad Pitt is, kudos to Brad Pitt for stepping in real quick and saying, I'm not your mascot or your poster child.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought, it's not funny, but I thought it was funny. Honestly, reading it, I'm just like, what? Okay.
Were they gonna bring tiki torches this time, or what were they gonna bring this time?
No idea.
Like,
I'm just like, why waste the energy?
Yeah, they always gotta bring some sort of prop.
So next up, it looks like Aisha Curry can get it if she wants it.
Oh. Who slided in DM?
So after the last Raptors game versus the Golden State Warriors, apparently a guy there in Canada, he was getting interviewed live on TV, and he says live, his name is Tristan Warkentin. I think that's correct. Tristan Warkentin. He was arrested after going live on TV and saying that he's going to fuck Aisha Curry in the pussy.
Oh wow, he said it like on live TV.
He said he's going to fuck Aisha Curry in the pussy.
Oh, okay. We don't censor ourselves here. You say that. You say
should I say that?
Yeah.
But so he was obviously very intoxicated, and he got a lot of backlash. He got death threats, and he has apologized. He said he doesn't even remember the incident, but
is this Aisha Curry's fault? From what she said?
Yo, that's a good point. The energy you put out there, she said she wanted more attention. She didn't say what type of attention. She wanted more. So the energy you put out, you can't be mad once that energy is received. I mean, but in all actuality, it's better for him to be, to say I want to fuck her in the pussy, rather than we have a president that says I want to grab women by the pussies without their consent. So I'm assuming that he wants to fuck her. It's some sort of mutual.
Right.
Yeah.
Because she wants the attention.
Yeah.
But I thought it was crazy that he actually got arrested for it.
Well, hold on.
I was like, whoa.
No. I think it's probably because of what he said on live TV.
Yeah, it was live TV.
You know what I'm saying? Because he's talking about asserting. You know what I mean?
Well, because it's deemed sexual harassment.
Yeah, exactly.
And he said it to the world, whether you're intoxicated or not. Yeah. So. But I don't want to say it's because of what she's wearing or because of what she said. That's what you wanted it. It's not. No, I'm not saying that because I know there's going to be some viewers that are like, how dare he?
She didn't deserve that.
She didn't deserve that.
Yeah, of course not. But that's that.
I tell the woman I want to have my baby.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
you technically said the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
I said the same thing. I just was
you're slick.
You don't necessarily want babies from it.
Yeah, I'm always stuck in this yes, I want to be connected with you for the next 18 years of my life as well after our room.
But I wonder how she took to it.
Yeah. She ended up smiling.
Yeah, she was smiling.
She probably
she's probably oh, I'm so appalled. But then in the background, she's like, yeah.
She's like, yes, I still got
it. Yeah, she's like, you better stop, boy.
I don't think it was her fault. I just say that because it's like you it's been said. And like you said, now the energy that's out there, so now men are probably thinking, damn, yeah, maybe I do want her. And they're expressing it in that way.
You know what's really funny? Is if Steph Curry paid him that guy to do it.
Oh my goodness.
Here, my wife is just tripping, okay? Right. Can you just say this please so she can be happy in the house?
That would be crazy.
She could be happy in the house.
And then next up, Ja Rule. Okay. We all know
about. What do you say?
We all know about the fiasco with the
fire
festival.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. Did you see that documentary?
Oh, yes.
I didn't get a chance.
Oh, yeah, you gotta see it, bro.
So he tried to put a festival together and everything just went to.
Yeah, so it wasn't necessarily him. I mean, he was a partner in it. So it was actually ran by this guy named Billy McFarland, and he was the main creator of the Fire Festival, and Ja Rule kind of came on board, but it was all a hoax. They had nothing put together. They promised people so much that they couldn't execute. And they actually had already taken people's funds, and they were promising them private, getaway on a private island for a big festival with all these artists and models, and just none of it can come to life. So Billy, the main guy, he actually last year he was sentenced to 6 years in prison because of this. It was due to wire fraud and selling fraudulent tickets because they were selling tickets to these events that
It wasn't gonna happen.
Right.
They didn't even have like the artist book. It was
Yeah.
it was kind of on the
So
strength.
it's just a sham, a complete
It was a sham,
Yeah,
yeah.
but you have to watch the documentary because
Yeah.
they actually went to the Bahamas. It took place in Bahamas, and they tore that country apart. Like they had these people there working night and day, trying to put this festival together, and they never got paid.
It seems like it was like this guy was having fun with other people's money.
Right.
That's how it seemed to me, and he just involved people from industries because that's the money he wanted to try to bring in. So to make this concert exclusive, but it just got to the point where they were trying to do it, but like Robin said, nothing fell through, and they still took the money, and it was fucked up. Like you got to see it.
Even when they had people telling them like, "Yo, this is not looking good. Stop now, stop now," and he still kept going. So again, it wasn't so much Ja Rule, but it was the fact that his name was attached to it and he was on board. I don't think he knew so much in the insight.
So now he's like, I want to do it.
So he was on the Breakfast Club for an interview, and he said that he would like to put together, not call it the Fire Festival, but put another festival together. And I mean, I would assume he's learned a lot since then, but I would just, me personally as a consumer, I would not be buying tickets to go to a festival Ja Rule put together since he was attached to the Fire Festival. I get it, you want to redeem yourself, but
what if
bad.
what if Ja Rule gets like other people involved, like let's say a Jay-Z, or let's say like a Puff Daddy, and then they're involved in that? Would that change your mind? Would it be?
Maybe,
Look at
maybe
TJ.
even somebody very credible like that,
Ja Rule gonna put that festival together, and 50 Cent gonna buy all those tickets, and nobody's gonna show up.
He did that
They
to
will-
his concert.
They will forever be forever. Ja Rule and 50 Cent. They'll be older, two grumpy old men, like wheeling out in a wheelchair. That's all 50 Cent's gonna do is troll
so
him.
sad.
Why?
Because I hate that he picks on Ja Rule. Like,
Picks on him.
But that's like all street stuff. You know what I'm saying? They got a dislike because of.
But you know what's if you
It's more deeper than that.
If you are going at odds with a guy that much, you should just fight. I just like at that point.
Well,
like,
they
all the pettiness
did.
and all this stuff, like
They
should
did.
they fist fight?
They fought. Like
They
50
fought.
got stabbed. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
I remember when I was working at the station,
Yeah.
we had, I think Ja Rule's people came, no,
Yeah,
50
yeah.
Cent's people came in.
okay.
Okay,
Dizzy
go ahead,
came
tell
in,
us.
his people,
Yeah, like Tony
and-
Yayo. That's who
and
was.
we had posters, like in the hallway, we just had posters of a
Yeah.
bunch of different artists. So there was a poster of Ja Rule, a pretty big poster, and they came and they sliced that shit up.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it.
Really?
Yeah, it was. I think it was Tony Yayo. It was Tony Yayo that went there and did that.
Damn. So
Yeah.
so it was Ja Rule that tried to hit on you and get
No,
you?
No, it
Ja
wasn't
Rule
Ja.
wasn't at the station.
Damn.
And he did not try to hit on
Yeah, I met Ja. Like I met Ja a long
Who's
time
Irv
ago.
Gotti?
I met Ja Rule a long time ago at the House of Blues, and he was mad cool, man. Like, and when I went there, like there was, I remember going into the back room, and we knew someone that worked for Murder Inc. And he introduced us, whatever, and I walked in and it was a cloud of fucking smoke. And like I walked in, he introduced himself, he talked for a little bit, and then I noticed that there was like a lot of rappers. There was like Fat Joe was there, like Cassidy, like it was like fuck all these people. You know what I'm saying? Like so he's he's a respected guy, but yeah, he got a lot of hatred too. You know what I'm saying? So
But we can go on about Ja Rule forever, I guess. But it gets me mad about 50 Cent because he clowned him just to turn around to do the same thing that he was clowning Ja Rule for. That's what irks me. I'm like, you're bullying this man just to do the same.
Hey, Ja Rule's gonna flip, man. He's gonna flip. He's gonna flip.
Hey, sometimes if you want someone's spot, you gotta. I mean, but I think it's 50 Cent. It was a little bit of jealousy in the beginning, but I'm sorry, but it's one of those things. It's funny. 50 Cent is probably one of the funniest people on Instagram and his social media. So
that was clever.
and now that Power is canceled, he got more time to come up with more creativity to troll Ja Rule.
That's horrible.
Oh my goodness.
But that is Celebrity Selfie, so.
Cool.
Yes, and you can catch Robin on the Soapbox podcast with her Celebrity Selfie on our streaming services. She'll be giving you all the latest updated news, rumors, juicy comments, all this gossip and let you know what's going on with your favorite entertainers and give them an up close and personal look at their lives. So thank you, Robin the Heart, for that. So we have a little something we call the wake up. I like to something that I like to bring people to the front of the congregation, or really just kind of tap the microphone, ring the bell, and bring some news to people's attention as to what you should be paying attention to. All right. And so what we have going on right now in this world, there's something that's brewing on social media, and you're seeing it more and more often. You're seeing it in legislation. It's checking privilege. All right. There's a lot of privileged folks in this world. We're dealing with people that are, with white folks that are overstepping their boundaries, where there was a time where on social media we're seeing black folks either get beat up in stores, people getting cops called on them. Well, in Oregon, there's a story that they filed a bill to crack down on racially motivated 911 calls. So now they're cracking down on that so that we can actually check privilege for people who are using and trying to weaponize law enforcement in order to call the cops on black folks just basically living their lives. So I'm glad, so kudos to the people in Oregon, the House of Representatives at Oregon State Capitol, for making sure that we have some legislation to actually protect folks to actually living their lives.
Okay, so if I got it right, but basically what they're saying is like they can't, callers that do racial charge calls, right? That are something like, like the people that were barbecuing in the park,
Right.
Type of thing.
Correct.
Now that the caller can get sued basically for, or fined like $250. I think it's like sued.
And they should be sued because it's harassment.
Yeah, because it's harassment. So, but the thing that was interesting about that article is that a couple things. Obviously, is gonna cause people to not report crimes, because now they're gonna be, kind of afraid that shit, this may be a call that they may think it's racially profiling somebody, and like it's gonna be difficult to prove. So like what's gonna be the standard for someone saying this is a racially charged call? Like obviously like the lady calling the cops on the little girl that was selling water bottles, that's some hating shit. You know what I'm saying? But
here's my thing. When it comes to those type of calls, you never see black folks calling the cops on white folks just living their lives. Like there are people, and there's power. And I want everybody to understand, there's power in two things: shutting the fuck up and minding your own business.
Yeah, with Latino.
There's power in that. Sometimes things are it's just not your business and it's not your place. Especially when you're dealing with children. We're seeing a lot of these racialized attacks and of people who feel like they're deputized to harm people of color, African Americans specifically. And so I'm glad that there's a state, and I hope more states and more state legislators and our politicians, I hope they wake up and start making sure that there's laws on the books. Because we could say how much we shall overcome, and we could say how much we care about our communities, but until we get laws to protect us, it really doesn't mean anything. So real quick, I want to move on to the big movie that we talked about on our social media podcast was When They See Us. And everybody knows now about the suspected white supremacist state prosecutor back then of the Central Park Five, which is the story of 5 teenage boys, young boys, who were wrongfully convicted and exonerated in 1989, and they were exonerated in 2002 for the rape of a woman and a white woman in the park. And this suspected white supremacist lady, Linda Fairstein, she decided that she was going to charge these boys no matter what. And so we have people like her now that Ava DuVernay did a great job on this 4-part series, which movie on Netflix. She's now getting her privilege checked, and she's being canceled on left and right. Good. So she's losing her publishing. She's off of the nonprofit boards, and that's what we have to do nowadays. We have to check privilege so that there's a checks and balance, and now she's losing out. Granted, we would like to have these things in place before she makes all of her money and before she profited off of these boys and the lives that were in their youth and their innocence that were ripped away from them.
And before she dies, when she's old now.
Exactly. It's the same.
I'm trying to be funny, but
Well,
seriously.
No, for real. It's the same thing. It's the same thing as the lady with the Emmett Till situation, who comes back and says, "Well, he didn't really
Do that.
Well, he
yeah.
didn't really whistle at me." Like, you should be incarcerated too. I don't care how old you are. Checking privilege is is one of the first steps to dismantling the system of white supremacy and replacing it with a system of justice. If you have this privilege and you're overstepping your boundaries, it needs to be checked. And I'm glad that her name, her legacy, everything is being tarnished and torn down, because what you did was wrong. And I think it should be criminal. And I'm sorry that I'm mad that she's not even behind bars herself.
You want to know the thing is though, man, like that unfortunately that situation was so intricate. So many different people played so much of a different role. Everyone from the detectives that were interviewing the kids, some of them were being interviewed without their parents knowing it. Detectives were egging them on certain details of the story. Some were even to the point where some were even kind of falsifying evidence or not documenting things right. And forcing these kids basically to admit to doing it.
Right.
So, it's just not her.
Yeah.
But
You know what I'm
she's
saying?
the
It's
overseer of
she's
this,
overseer,
though.
exactly.
Overseer.
It's like,
But-
at the end of the
but-
day, you still are responsible.
You are exactly, but to kind of go to your point, it's the structure. You know what I'm saying? It's everything that's in place. She was just the head. You know what I'm saying? She was the head of it.
Then if the team falls, who's to blame?
But she
Yeah,
also,
that's
she
true.
also was public in saying that she felt like she's never come out and admitted that these boys are innocent.
Yeah, that's right. There's actually some good interviews. I don't know if you ever watch Vlad TV.
Mm-hmm.
He actually interviewed the four guys, and they're doing.
Five guys.
Yeah, five. Excuse me,
Mhm.
5 guys. No, he did. There's
only
5 guys, but he only
interviewed
four.
four? Okay.
Whatchamacallit, and basically they told their story. They out of all 5 of them, they got like 41 mil that they had to split because they ended up
They got,
yeah.
a mill for every
Yeah.
year that they served.
And and that's kind of the thing that's where you need to hurt them at. You need to hurt them in the pockets. You know what I mean? Like they should have gotten way more than that. But anyways, my point is that they say that she never reached out to them once they were exonerated and once they were evidence showed that it was somebody else that did it and admitted to it.
And we got puppets like Candace Owens, who's nothing but a white supremacist puppet, a white supremacist basically hand puppet, where she is the mouthpiece for whatever they want her to say against black society. She's a black woman in herself and pigmentation alone. She goes out and throws these sensationalized comments out there like, well, I still think those boys did it. They're not innocent.
Oh wow,
And-
really?
Said that?
Yeah, that's what
This
she
was
said.
recently?
Yeah, but she's a clown. She's one of these black women on Fox News. She's on social media and stuff like that. So Candace Owens is a big clown, and
Does she
she's.
have any kids?
I'm actually.
She can't have.
I'm
She
not-
shouldn't
I'm
say
not-
such
I don't know.
a crazy comment of that sort.
But she's one of those people, just like Diamond and Pleather or Silky and Cuba Zirconium. Them two ladies, those chicken hens ladies. They just say things with sensationalism so that they can get their little checks and go on to these shows and basically talk down on black society. And it's like, oh, well, the white people that are pulling her strings, oh, they're not racist because it's Candace. She's a black woman, and look, she's the one saying these things. And, and so we have to watch out for dangerous clowns like that who are saying such hateful vitriol towards black society, specifically to our youth. Because what she's trying to do is further dehumanize our youth, to say that their lives don't matter, who cares about them, and oh yes, they did it, because all these black children that were in the park that day, they are all suspects. So, I have an issue with that, but she's a clown anyway. Lastly but not least, I want to talk about the privilege, the blue privilege. And I'm talking about within law enforcement. We had this officer who got 12 years for the murder of this white woman up in Minnesota. His name is Mohammed Noor. He was sentenced to 12 years after he shot and killed an unarmed white woman. And so you're looking at that and you're saying, well, great, we actually got some justice, right? But it's so weird that when it comes to the killings of unarmed black folks, they're always getting the support the police officer is always getting the support. The non-black police officer is always getting the support of the Blue Shield, the Blue Lives Matter crew. They didn't move. They didn't follow protocol. They didn't do. There's certain things that they didn't do. But for some reason, Muhammad Noor, he didn't
Open and shut case.
Yeah, for some reason justice was served, and that just shows you that our judicial system, they protect their own. You see what I'm saying? We don't get the justice that we deserve, and because this dude was a person of color, he didn't get that shield, and because of who the victim was, because the white woman's life is valued, you can't dehumanize her. They didn't look up her criminal background history. They didn't show her in pictures of her in uncompromising positions on social media, or dig up her past and try to look up old stuff about her, or have old boyfriends or whatever. They didn't try to smear her in the media. Right. But it's open and shut because an officer can't do that. So when we're checking privilege, I want people within our community to realize that just because you may have a badge on, you may be a visitor, but that's not your community, okay? Because at the end of the day, you're still black. And when you go into the judicial system, they still recognize you as such. You see what I'm saying? So if you think that you have this complexion for the protection, you don't, all right? So they got on code real quick and realized that, oh no, he's got to go to jail. He's got to go to prison for his wrongdoings. And so what we want to do in this country is we want to get to a point where it doesn't matter about your race. That if you do wrong, if you shoot someone who's unarmed and you're found at fault, that justice is served. But that's not how it is in this country. And for some reason, because we have people with privilege and privilege is running amok, it's going to continue to go this way unless we have folks that, like ourselves, like you, the listener, that go out and check these folks. So kudos to them. And my last one, and I'm gonna finish up. Did y'all see the viral video of the guy who wouldn't let the woman into the hotel room?
Yes, it's above me.
It's above me because she called him a nigger on the phone. And so he had the perfect response to it, and he just said, "I'm sorry, man, it's above me now." He said, and he told her that she could not stay there. She thought because they said, oh, well, her grandmother just died, or someone that they would just let him in. And that's what we need to do. We don't need to get flustered. We need to use whatever positions that we have to say, no, he didn't go and hoop and holler and yell and scream and get all emotional. No, it's above me. And he just kept telling her to keep it on, keep it moving.
Yeah.
He handled it very well.
Very gracefully.
Handled it very well. I loved it. I love the way he handled it. Even though they went and digged up his past. And of course they tried to make the false, because he had some what they deemed transphobic comments on his Twitter. And so they dig that up, just like they did with Bad Bunny. They digged up his old stuff, just like they do all the time. When I say they, it's people trying to get back. Like, we can't be victims, and we also can't be heroes.
Right.
And we can't show any dominance in our community where it's like we're standing up. They got to make an example out of somebody. So
I think too, what irks me is like, I guess no one can ever grow. What? Maybe you did say some,
some messed up
shit.
stuff.
At one time, but maybe since then you have grown.
Yeah.
You've grown up and you realize that was wrong, and you're trying to do better with your life.
Yeah.
I guess that's not okay.
Yeah, it's not. They don't want to display that. You did something wrong, so
when you were 5 years old, you're a bad person. That's it.
Your opinion don't count, or something like that, or that situation is you're part of the problem.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's so fucked up, man. But that's how society is, man.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to that kind of stuff, it's just like I said. There's always that false equivalency. Oh, he said these things on there. So what does that mean? So he has those tweets. So does that mean that the lady was justified in calling him a nigger?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's how our society is. It's that tit for tat where when nobody is wrong, we're not supposed to check privilege. We're not supposed to sit there and check people on their wrongdoings because, well, you did wrong and I did wrong. So nobody wants to be told anything. Everybody just is able to just do what they want to do.
I think it counts when it's relevant for the situation at the moment. You know what I mean? You can't bring up someone's past. And like you said, if it's been something that happened a long time ago, yeah, it was a mistake, I grew, but it has nothing to do with that situation. Right. Certain situations, yeah, you can say that and take that under consideration. Yeah. But in this particular situation, that had nothing to do with anything. Right. It was shouldn't have done it, but yeah.
I feel you. Listen, y'all. Hey, we thank y'all for joining us. We want y'all to grow with us. Follow us, Soapbox Podcast at Soapbox with 2X Podcast. Robin, where can they find you?
You can find me mainly on IG. I'm at Robin the Heart. That's THE Robin the Heart.
Freaky Fresh, where can they find you?
John Boy Fresh 80 at IG.
And if you want to comment, subscribe, tell me about myself, or tell me I'm wrong about the situation when it comes to checking privilege, or if you have a story, you can follow me at Legacy LEGACY Cole World. That's Legacy Cole World. And hey, this is the beginning of our YouTube channel. This is the beginning of our Soapbox Podcast, and we want you to join with us, grow with us, and we will be tuning in, informing you, and entertaining you on your streaming services. Peace.
Bye.